Hey folks, how you doing? Got something a little different today. It's actually not a cigar review. You'll notice there's no thick cloud of smoke. I'm not smoking a cigar just yet. I will be right after I get done filming this, so I'm going to do a review. But anyway, I mentioned a few weeks ago that I was going to do a little tips and tricks segment, and that's the popularity of this depends on you, the viewer. I don't have lots of tips and tricks, so I'm going to kick it off. You know, use it, don't use it, you know, however it works out, that's great. And if you got a tip, send it in, and you know, we can keep the ball rolling. So, like I mentioned before, in that previous video, is that I was going to do one on my labeling technique. So, let's get down to business. My labeling technique isn't so much to keep track of what I have in the humidor. There are a lot of different software applications that will do that for you. Even just simple Excel spreadsheets will keep track of your stock. Instead, I'm more concerned about the age of the cigars that I have in my humidor. So for instance, let's just say that tonight I order a 5-pack of Rocky Patel vintage 1990s. I put them in the humidor. I don't get around to smoking them, and 3 months from now, I order another 5-pack. Now I've got 10 cigars sitting in the humidor. I don't know which ones are aging or have aged, and which ones, you know, are fresh. Unless you're kind of dating them and marking them down and keeping a logbook of where you're putting what, and that was all a big hassle for me. So I set out to really simplify it for myself, and came up with two different techniques. First being unbanded, or not so much unbanded, but uncellophane cigars. Now, you know, the technique's pretty simple. You head over to Heartfelt Industries, and he's got these blank cigar bands. What I do is I just jot down the date that it enters my humidor, wrap the cigar band around the cigar, put it away, and it's as simple as that. Just you know, as soon as I go into that box of cigars that has random singles in it, you know, I know how old it is right as soon as I look at it. And these are the blank cigar bands. This is actually like a brick. I ordered 250 of them, and exactly what they are, if I can get one, just a single one off for you. Okay, now what they are is just, it's you know, piece of paper, but it's got adhesive on both ends. It's got a strip here on this side, and it's got a strip on the back here. And they're not tacky to the touch. They don't have any odor or anything. And if you've ever used contact cement, it works just like that. It's not sticky to the touch, but when the two surfaces touch one another, they kind of form a bond, and they'll stay around the cigar. And you know, of course, before you fold it around and stick it to itself, you just write the information on the band, and you end up with something like this. This is just a Camagüey Rosado, and that's part one. Quick and simple. So I'm going to cut the camera off, go grab a cigar as an example for the next segment, and we'll move things right along. And here we are once again for the next step. Now it's important to remember that I do this with cellophane cigars that don't have cellophane on them, and I do that for a reason. Just because when you put the band around the cellophane, it has a tendency to slip and slide all around, and in my experience, they just pop off relatively easy. So I do that just for again, cigars without cellophane. And I've heard of people using just Post-it notes also. Just kind of cut a Post-it note in half, wrap it around, and stick it to itself. And I hear it works pretty well. Moving right along, you've got, let's say you order a box of, well, we'll stick with the example of the Rocky Patels. Okay, now, what I do there, because I don't want that slip of paper sliding off the cellophane, and it's important to remember that I store my cigars with the cellophane on. And I do that because, like I mentioned before, I have coolers, and I'm putting random singles in, you know, just spare cigar boxes. So everything gets mixed up. There's no real rhyme or reason to the way I do anything in that sense. So, and your other option is just to put all same date cigars in one box, and just take like a piece of blue painter's tape like this. It's just low mask. Just tear a piece off, stick it on the box, write on, just use a felt tip pen, write the date on the box. That works if if you're getting a fair amount of cigars in at one time, or if you're keeping track of just a date range. Say you've got a box that has all of 1 month in there. I didn't hold it close enough to the camera for you to tell, but the Camagüey's, I actually have the date they go in the humidor, and that's how I do all of my cigars. Next, cigars with the cellophane on, just like I mentioned, Rocket Patel. What I do is I use a label. Real simple. You can either use a label maker to punch up your own labels, or you could do what I did, which I found incredibly easy, and that was just to buy mailing address labels. These are Staples brand, and they match the Avery 5167s and the 8167s. And what that means is there's a sheet of 80 labels, and they're all half inch by 1 3/4 inches. And I found that these work perfect because what I do is I'll take this sheet and I use a Microsoft template that I've got right off of Microsoft Office's website. And what it allows me to do is enter return address information on each individual label. So what I can do is, say I get a 5-pack. I use these 5 labels for this, for those cigars, and then I get another 5-pack. I can put them right over here. And say 3 days later, or 3 weeks later, however you want to look at it, I get some more cigars. Now I've already peeled these labels off and used them. Now I just use the template to fill in over here, blank out these spaces, and put the whole sheet right back in the printer again. And you run through them and use all of them. You don't get stuck with a couple empty labels. It works out really well. And the information I put on there is cigar name and model, the size name and dimensions, as well as the date it goes in my humidor. And here's an example. And I just stick that label right on the cellophane and just toss it in the humidor, or in the cooler door in my case. So quick and easy, little tips and tricks. Let's be honest, I had to eat up 16 minutes of tape. I just couldn't live with myself if I left that much blank tape on the tape and didn't use it. So just wanted to eat into the tape a little bit. Just run this tips and tricks segment real quick. If you like the idea, hey, great, use it. Send me an email, let me know how it worked out for you. If you have any improvements on it, got another tip, another trick, send it in, and we'll I'll make sure me and Jerry and we kind of rotate on and off of this thing, and maybe try to make it a monthly occurrence, or maybe a little more. It all depends on you guys. How often you send those tips in. So that's about all I got for you. So once again, thanks for watching, and I hope the labeling technique works out for you. Thanks.